And we're back. You're watching Sports Federation TV. I'm Lenyukta Chetty. Joining me now is the president of Western Cape Sport Confederation, Mr. JP Naude. He's here to give us a deeper insight into how the organization functions and where they stand in the grand scheme of things. Welcome, JP.
Thanks, Lenyukta. It's nice to be on the other side for a change.
On the other side of the more comfortable couch.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're the president. How long have you been the president?
Well, officially, this is the first year. My first year was as acting president. That was after, of course, the sad passing away of our previous president, Mr. Goliath Munro, who did an incredible job of building the Provincial Sport Confederation to where it is. And so my first term was as acting, and then on the 18th of March this year, we had the elections and was elected as president. So first year.
First year.
Yeah.
It's a tough job, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's demanding. It comes with a lot of responsibilities, a lot of obligation as well. But I think that's when you put your hand up to take this position, it comes with the territory, and you've got to step up to the plate.
Yeah, JP, just to put it into perspective, because one doesn't walk off the street into the position of a president of a provincial sports body. Tell us about your history and your sport involvement and how it led you to this point.
Yeah, I quite often think about that myself. My personal, a lot of people think that I'm a rugger bugger, but my personal sports history started with judo many years ago, and then from there, after 20 years of that, I'd moved to karate, and I still do karate. I think then my connection to the world of sport increased when I became a sports presenter on Good Hope FM, and I presented sport there for many years. I'm not going to say how long because then I'll give away my age. So the media space of sport, I think, is where it started, and somewhere along the line in that space, one of the previous Cape Town Sports Council chairs, Dave Roberts, asked me to come and present on media marketing and sponsorship to the council, and I did that, and then they asked me to join the council from a marketing perspective, and I did that, and then there was an election, and I was asked to join the Cape Town Sports Council and served there as the vice chair for a while, and then shortly after that the chairperson. And then, as I said earlier on, migrated into the provincial space.
So the first mistake you made was say yes when they asked you to volunteer to do something.
Yeah, I know that that sounds probably, like you say, we both know this world of volunteers, but we desperately need people to step up. Once you volunteer, the ball sort of begins rolling on its own, and I think one can look at it as a volunteer, but I think those volunteers that do this kind of work, they look at it as a job.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of times you'll hear administrators in sports complain about the obstacles, but for someone that's involved on quite a high level, what would you say are some of the benefits of being a sports administrator?
There's several benefits. I think you have the ability. And I've often said this in some of the talks or speeches that I might have to give when I'm standing in front of a group of people. But and it might sound like it's been repeated a lot, but Nelson Mandela said, sport has the ability to change the nation. I think I sometimes rather flippantly make the remark that sport has the ability to change the nation when they have good administrators, because sport can only function when it has good administrators. And when you're in this position, you have the real ability to touch people's lives. So sport, I believe, is one of the most influential processes or platforms available. In fact, just the fact that corporates and sponsorships look for the world of sport to put their money because it's going to make their business work means that we're in the same position as a corporate. We're in the same position to make a difference in people's lives. So sport is a platform and a tool that is a lot stronger than many other tools that we've got. So through sport, we have the ability to teach people about many different things, life skills, governance, and so on. But I personally believe that the process of transformation of sport of South Africa, for South Africa to go in terms of a national collective, to go to another level, I believe sport is one of the if not the strongest tool for us to transform South Africa. And so yeah, no, there's several benefits, you know. If you're a good administrator, there's benefits. If you're a bad administrator, well, there's not so many benefits.
Yeah. Well, you know, a classic example of that, just to be a little bit nostalgic, is, and they even made a movie about the '95 World Cup rugby tournament, Invictus, and that is a true life depiction of how sport can change your perspective.
Well, you know, if you just think about the fact that those of us that are in the world of sports administration, we have to look. I mean, you just spoke to Anina now about, you know, the transformation, Women's Transformation Commission. If you look at what our commissions are able to do, you think about the fact that through these administrators and senior decision makers and the work that they do, there is going to, somewhere along the line, going to be another kid who is going to, somewhere along the line, get onto a sport field, or maybe have an opportunity to travel to a sports field, or go and join a club. These are the kind of things that, when we're, yes, we might be looking at high level matters such as colors and team selections and so on. But if you think about it, at the end of the day, that is the ground level transformation that happens when the machine is working properly.
Now, there is two lines that are running, JP, to put it in perspective, because a lot of people don't understand these structures and they don't know how to access the benefits of these lines. You've got a sports admin line and you've got a funding line. How do these structures work, and how are they interlinked?
You know, we are structured in terms of the sports organization. We're structured quite simply in terms of the alignment of SASCOC. So we are part of the national sports body. They are our national body. And then SASCOC itself is divided into 9 provinces and then into the various districts according to the Demarcation Act. And then, of course, you have government, which provides funding, and you have Lotto that provides funding. So if you look at the Confederation, the work that we do, it's very much about the administration, the promotion of the sports federations. Other sports federations, are we promoting them, number one, and then are we helping them administer themselves? Constitutions, governance, coaching, high performance, etc. So that's very much our internal process. And then, of course, you have the administrative process. And the administrative process, as you said, is about, you know, funding. Is money being spent in the right places? Are we giving federations money to administer themselves, support them with, you know, administration, capacity and development. So yeah, those are I suppose there's the sporty side, if you want to look at it like that, and then there's the admin side.
What would federations need to have in place, non-negotiable, in order for them to have access to funds coming from Lotto or DCAS?
Yeah, I think the key things that we look for, I mean, first of all, any federations that is out there, a non-negotiable is you need a constitution. Not only for us to know that you're going to manage yourself properly, but also that constitution, we believe, acts as your blueprint. It is your template and your guiding document that guides you and binds you to the way that you operate as a federation. So constitution, absolutely critical. The other thing is, in terms of good governance, is keeping an eye on your finances. You need proper bookkeeping process. So you know where the money's going, you know how you're spending it. But in fact, before that, you need a plan. You need a plan about how you're going to, spend your funding, if you've got funding, whether you get it from marketing or from Lotto or from fundraising from your clubs. You need a plan, and really your constitution should speak to your plan. And so those are the key things: constitution and, you know, well, good governance, especially over finances.
And nationally, what is the mandate from SASCOC to the different provinces?
Well, there are obviously a number of mandates, but I think the ones that one would want to focus on primarily are the various commissions. So if you look at SASCOC, they've got the EPG, which is the Eminent Persons Group, which is essentially in the various provinces and districts and federations, your transformation commissions. Also at SASCOC, there will, for example, be a women and girls, as you spoke to Anina Black, the chair, from the chair of the Women and Girls provincial structure, just before me. So we would look at those kind of structures that SASCOC would roll out, from transformation to women and girls to coaching to high performance, and then roll that down into the province and then into the districts. Those are the key things. And of course, making sure that everybody's alignment structures are right.
Yeah, yeah. Because it would affect then the colors process and all of that. Hey.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't understand that. The people don't understand that today, this badge, this one that you and I are wearing, is the new provincial badge. People still are not quite understanding that the country is divided into 9 provinces. And what are those 9 provinces? Well, it's the Western Cape for us. So we have a situation that in the Western Cape we have 6 districts: West Coast, Eden, Central Karoo, Overberg, Cape Town, which is the old Western Province, Cape Winelands, which is of course the old Boland, and Esviadeer, which is the old Eden. And I'm sure that the chairpersons of each one of those districts tonight, if they're watching, will be happy to know that we're promoting the district structures, which is what this badge makes up. So when it comes to colors, it's important to understand that you can't just issue these colors. You must have competed somewhere along the line, depending on your own colors policy that you as a federation might have. So to get provincial colors, you must compete as districts. And to get district colors, you should have competed as clubs. So it starts with clubs. They compete together to find the best in the district. Then the district competes together to find the best in the province. And then the provinces compete together to find the best in the country. And then hopefully those will go to the Olympics or the Commonwealth Games or the Africa Games, the World Champs. So that's the structure. Federation.
They have a constitution and their books are in order.
Yep, well, that's important. Yeah, it's important that if your books are not in order, then it's quite difficult to give funding to organizations whose finances aren't up to scratch.
No, absolutely. It's accountability.
100%, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. JP Naude, for the work that you and your team do, and will continue to do, because for the rest of your life, when we ask you to volunteer, you will continue to say yes.
Yeah, but talking about volunteers, I've just got to say to you, I stood in for you for a little bit on the show. The work that you do for Sports Federation TV, which is, of course, the official broadcast partner to the Confederation, Lenyukta, the fact that you're doing the show is making an incredible difference to people's lives. You ask what do I do, but the fact that we've got now television for sports federations is a first in the country, if not a first in the world. And it's given the platform and the opportunity for federations out there, athletes and clubs who previously would never have had any exposure, would never have had a voice. It's made the world of difference to the world of sport. So I must say to you, you must get a big pat on the back. And the fact that you do this week in and week out, I certainly hope that your fans are giving you big hugs in the street.
Well, everybody, JP has made this wonderful display of affection to me because he forgot to wish me for my birthday 5 months ago. But thank you nevertheless, JP. And yes, he's true. It's absolutely correct that this is the only show of its kind in the whole country. And you were one of the founding people behind the show. Hey.
Yeah, but we'll leave that. It's now in your hands, so we'll leave it up to you now.
Okay, well, thank you, JP, for the show, and thank you for the work that your team does in the Confederation. Well, folks, that's it from JP Naude, and thank you for tuning in once again today. Remember that you can catch the show every Friday night at 9 p.m, repeated Saturdays at 8 a.m. on Channel 263 DSTV. And for your chance, yet again, to win a case of assorted Bashers drinks, all you need to do is SMS Bashers to 33090. I'm Lenyukta Chetty, and thank you for tuning in to Sports Federation TV. Whatever sport you're playing this weekend, lekker speel.